Welcome back. This is still the Polity reaching you live from Abuja. Today, historical day, some might say. Interestingly, it coincides with the 100 days in office of President Bola Tinubu. It's also the day that it is being decided if truly his path to power, the process that got him in, was valid. We've been hearing from the judges. I'm sure you've been seeing it on our television here. We've been bringing to you live updates from the petition tribunal. They've gone on a recess once again, so we will be taking a look at the updates so far. The judgment has been read up to a certain point. We'll be analyzing what this means, what it could mean for Nigerians, for the electoral process in the future, and how it could pan out if peradventure it gets all the way to the Supreme Court. I've been joined now in the studio by a legal practitioner. He's also the Global President, Yoruba Council Worldwide, Oladotun Hassan. He joins me now to bring some analysis on the process so far. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Well, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be on your program.
It's good to have you. I had to specify that you're also a legal practitioner so that our viewers know that you wear two hats here, so to speak. So let's, I'd like a general overview before we start into the specific rulings on the way to the final judgment. What's your general take so far? Is it going as perhaps you expected it to go, or has there been upsets?
Well, without much ado, this is all about our democracy. This is all about defining one of the defining moments that tells our story, and this will go in history that today's judgments from the court, it goes to say that the judiciary is not a place you go and dump cases. These are places you go and prove your case beyond reasonable doubt and put forward evidences, substantial evidences to back up your cases. And you can see how best the judgment have been properly scrutinized with details. And looking from the APM first judgment today, it goes to say that the judges are not sleeping. They are well read, they are well versed, and they are much on ground to see the facts and figures being brought on the table. Or like the issue of the vice presidential candidate, that's not wearing the guy never picked a double ticket, because your position of vice presidentialship is not a ticket of the party. Those are appointments on the discretion of the president. And if the president presumes you as a vice president, definitely you forgo the first nomination form. That is at your own discretion. So meaning there was no case ab initio for APM. If that is what they were relying on, it can only be a double nomination whereby he is the presidential candidate and also in this also a senator of his district. But we have been we've seen it that, just as we have always said, we are all looking at the judiciary. This is time. This is not that we are grandstanding the judiciary that, oh, we must declare this at this school, but the facts are proving on the balance of probability of fact before the court, and the court have adjudicated, and I'm confident, and I must begin to repose my assurance to all Nigerians that we cannot lose faith on our judiciary. These are no times that, oh, there are no facts and you want the court to manufacture facts for you. No. And these are no sentiments. It's about election. And we also saw election about over 150,000 polling units. You just must provide your agents. You just must be prepared. We know how much political parties are unprepared. Not all the political parties has the wherewithal to man that large pool of polling units. Even the Labour Party do not produce all polling agents or all the entire polling unit across the country, because how do you prove that is the list you submit to the INEC? It is only APC, PDP that can be able to viably say, okay, they have all the polling unit being manned. And that is why I'm surprised that the critical area, the major frontal issue of the election, which is the voting, which is how were the results being collated from the polling unit, signed by the polling agent, and based on records, not manufactured records. There was a time, even aftermath of the election, there was a time the Labour Party were calculating the vote, and they themselves found some other things and they shut it down. Can't they bring about that report? So for the fact that the court is still, we are still awaiting a final judgment, and we cannot prejudice the court, and our own view here is just to share opinion of the past, and I'm just trying to ease our minds of that. People should not be stuck to lies or sentiment that, oh, this man must be declared winner. No, somebody who's called third cannot come first.
Hasn't it happened before?
No, the political scenario are different. We cannot put that in this old form, that you must, for the fact that you must be able to have the highest number of votes. That is the critical first stage you must cross. Meaning those votes were not manufactured. These are people who went to poll and cast their vote for the particular candidate. Either the votes are high, low, or however it's coming from different. In some eastern states, there were over 99% vote for the Labour Party. In some local government, there are 900% vote for the Labour Party. Just as we have, but at least you cannot say there was no void vote. You cannot say maybe there are another candidate of other political party were not given away. But we also how the election went. It's quite unfortunate that election had some minus. The minus is the fact that it was grandstand on the premise of ethnicity, and that's really affected and is still affecting our psyche as I'm talking to you now. The other hand of the election, which was promoted beyond the mode we used to think about it, is religion. Religion was practically played at the ballot, which is most dangerous element of the 2023 election. So we need to begin to take some lessons of what and how we need to be living together as citizens.
All right, that's fair enough. Even with the words of former Ekiti State Governor yesterday, where he revealed that in 2012 his party played politics with fuel subsidy removal, way back then under President Goodluck Jonathan. It just goes to show that politicians tend to employ these means like you've described, while forgetting that we still have a nation. Well, now let's speak now to some of the specific judgments we've read out. We have that the court says that Peter Obi and the Labour Party did not adequately or failed to prove that they got majority votes, and that they were not able to they made broad claims, but they were not able to list specific polling units. They were not able to list the actual votes they got before it was allegedly cannibalized for the APC, so to speak. What do you make of this ruling, particularly what you mentioned about manning the polling units? Do you think that's what affected the Labour Party?
Let's not say it was cannibalized for APC. Let me call
no, that was the alleged allegation.
No. We have to disabuse the mind of the citizens. I cannot be relying on a third-party statement, and that should now be my point.
No, the court has said it's wrong. That was the allegation. The court said you were wrong.
So for me, one of the cardinal interests is the fact that if you are coming for a presidential election, you must plan way back. You don't begin to select and go on in hurried picking from the field. We know Labour Party was never in any of was never on the first three layer of political party. 2023 and the emergence of Peter Obi promoted Labour Party as a party. Not that Labour Party had the structure of political party structure. There is a difference between you having the millions of people that are commanding as structures and you having that political structure as institution on ground. That is what politics is all about. You cannot equate both, and that's whereby if the structures are actually there, it goes to say in the entire northern state, in the entire southwestern state, at the local government, what structures, schools are they really on ground? Were they having the practical programming and allegiance to their political party before the election. So these are the critical things the judgments were being spelled out, that it is all about bringing practical things on ground. Which polling unit, who was there from you as your agent, is the agent giving witness to show that this was what really happened? You don't bring up a blanket covering the field approach to just letting the whole world know by just throwing lies in the media and letting everybody just want to have this crocodile shed tears that, oh, you are being marginalized, or there was something. Yeah, if you talk about election marginalization or electoral violence, it cut across board, and these are critical areas we must begin to heal. If you go to the eastern part, you dare not mention APC during the election day. If you go to some parts of the southwest, there were critical issues of Labour Party, PDP, and every other political. It was more fiscal. And let me not tell you, this is not a significant factor to Nigeria alone. These are issues that cause out of reach, and if you are not able to manage it properly, that have caused war in countries. Cote d'Ivoire, they had crisis. Post-election crises are one of the leading elements of what happened in Gabon. Post-election crisis. So we need to equate all these facts together. Preparing for election is not a speed make. It requires you to ensure that you man the polling. It's all about polling unit. It's all about agents. It's all about election and how to ensure that those areas that you are mentioning. Yes, on the fact that PDP won in Osun State, the Lagos election, Labour Party won there. And if people were still saying, okay, this was not free and fair, how do you want to guide an election that was practically fair and credible? Because to me, the election was most credible because everybody threw everything they had at the election. Everybody. And that is why I can boldly say that the candidate that vied, unfortunately, Peter Obi and Atiku ran the 2015 election before now. So both of them were, it was politically, some political grandmaster will say, if these two people had matched, that is 12 million votes for both of them. And that is politics for you. It would have been a straight win because everyone will go and gather votes from their nucleus places that they have political mileage. Where Ashwaju had political mileage from the north, he played the game prior before the election. Even we that of the southwest, we are beginning to say, why is this man always thinking about the north? All through the campaign, we saw what was going on, how much he was ensuring that he galvanized his strength from that angle, and that was where his winning chances came from. And we all saw it. That was where his winning chances came from. Maybe partly south, but at least the entire southeast, irrespective of his political structures and everything around the southeast, there's a little you can tell. Wadani is a good calculator. You already know where to lose and where to win. You can't win all, and you can't tell all of us, all Nigerians, that all Nigerians voted for me. Nobody dare say that. Even Ashwaju cannot say all Nigerians voted for me. The only thing he can say is those that voted and those that let us all work together. These are times to work. So
I just want to cut in there. We are talking about the PEPT, but you've raised an issue. I just want, if we can quickly clear before we move on to the main matter. I was speaking about the former governor, Kayode Fayemi, yesterday. What actually brought that statement was that he was trying to say that we need to change the way we run politics and governance. That a person getting 38% of the votes shouldn't get 100% of the government, and that when there's more unity, it disabuses enmity politics, or how he called it. And so he gave an instance that they knew that removal of subsidy back then would help, but they were playing politics. That's what he said. So now you've described how this election was keenly contested. people galvanized their own nucleus and came up with that. I'd just like to get your thoughts as to that suggestion by Dr. Fayemi. Do you think we should be going in that angle where, you know, if his statement was that if someone gets 20% of the votes, they should be allowed 20% of the government? What do you make of that argument?
You know, it's a possibility where there are tranquility, there are peaceful, harmonious relationship post and pre-election. It will be a different ball game when you are sticking to your gun and wanting to ensure that you bring down the government. As at date now, I'm very much concerned each time I look at the social media. Some few days back, considering what the kind of coups we've been witnessing in Niger and all that, and because some people believe that they are obedient in court and they have some mobs of people on the social media, they can equally just throw anything there, people begin to trend it and see reason for that to become a reality. And that is quite unfortunate. It doesn't show patriotism when people call for coup because they are not having the government. When people begin to post that, oh, all eyes on the judiciary, and that's where I want to lay there factually. You don't push the judiciary in this kind of climb, because during the entire election period, there were a lot of narrative that were unfortunately dumped in the polity on the audience, on the citizens, that, oh, Fashola was the one to write the judgment. It was their Fashola to came out and disabuse the people. Now, those are dangerous elements that you cannot be pushing that kind of narrative in a sense, even if you are expecting that area to work for you. If by the time that you are playing the negative news, so that by the time the judgment comes, people can begin to hold them accountable that, oh, they've been saying it. Those kind of witchcraftiness cannot work in a system whereby you are not showing that if everyone were to be open-minded, aftermath of the election, even if you are still in court, we've witnessed that in Lagos, whereby candidates congratulate each other. Look at President Jonathan when he lost. It was easy to congratulate. Those are leadership traits and leadership qualities. Not that he does not. I was telling somebody that, do you think that Jonathan don't have the enormity of power to control and maneuver situation and put all of us in a quagmire? At the end of the day, we'll still come back and be trying to see how to resolve post-election crisis because of the desperation, the African mentality desperation. If it were to be that we've had leaders in this country that they wanted to die just because of third-term agenda, meaning they are ready to even clamp down the constitution. That is African mentality desperation. To me, these are not what, if Fayemi is trying to, maybe Dr. Fayemi is raising that as an advisory. It's an advisory. It's his personal opinion.
Yes.
To me, technically is allowed. If you look at his administration, he has given room for almost everybody to bring something on the table. Not because those that contributed alone, because if you want to look at those that contributed alone, where you put the Minister for Innovation and Communication, the technology minister? Yeah, Bosun. Bosun was never APC member. You can look at his tweet, which was more pro-Labour Party. He supported, there were some idea that he leaned on, but somebody somewhere saw that there is value. He has something upstairs. He developed the CC Hub. Maybe you don't know what CC Hub is all about. CC Hub is one of the apex that was developing hub initially in Nigeria that has cut across all segments of society. So Ashwaji never looked at either he abused prior before election. When he picked him, he didn't even go to the extent that, oh, look at this guy's post. So he was only meant to apologize to the Senate. What he posted was not because of President Buhari, it was because of the government, the APC-led government. And if he could raise issues to that effect, he's entitled to his opinion. But the president never saw that. It was the president that nominated him. Are you saying the president did not see all those things or was not informed or having the background knowledge of the person? That shows leadership, that the content in this man is what I need, not his maybe the euphoria. But if this man can do all this, even those that were political players that run all their commitment towards the entire campaign didn't get anything. But that is to show that in all fairness, what Fayemi was raising has been implemented already by Asiwaju.
All right, that's fair enough. I like the example you gave, particularly when we take a look at some of the tweets he made. I think some of them, even he admitted, crossed a lot of lines. So at the end of the day, I think the lesson here is that no one is really irredeemable in terms of being able to serve your country.
Yes.
As long as you have something to offer, you will be.
And you'll be surprised tomorrow if Peter Obi offers to serve to offer his strength of service. Actually, will give room. Even if Peter Obi loses election today, at the court, or Atiku loses today, Asiwaju is still an open-minded person that will still give you room. Even if they still go to appeal, he will still give you room to contribute. Go to Lagos. Go to every structure of his political base and value. That is the leadership trait that drives people to him. Maybe and that drives a lot of us that believe in him. And we are still believing that yes, he has something to offer. No matter the cloudy situation, however the cloudy situation is, you will always see me. I'll come here point blank to lay it the way it is. If you are not happy about fuel subsidy, I've come here several times to criticize positively, but not to run down the government. Right. To look at critical area of development, and that should be our priority as a people.
All right, that's fair enough. So back to the PEPT, we'll just end with two of the judgments here, ruling, or as they called, which is that the court agreed with the argument of the respondent, that's the APC and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that, quote unquote, the FCT does not enjoy a special status, that Abuja is inhabited by Nigerians, and that Abuja does not enjoy any special privilege. The court said that it observed that the 25% matter was irrelevant, that the president did not get 25% in the FCT. And yes, I believe, yes, these are the matters, the last of which, as we know it now, has been resolved. This caused a whole lot of argument, leading all the way from February 25th, all the way to this very day. And the court has finally said, quote unquote, it is irrelevant. Did you see this coming?
Yes, because I see the failure of the lawyers to Peter Obi to have misled their client into believing that they can create a molehill out of a mole that is inexistent. When you already know, as senior advocate that they have, I put the blame on their table because they foresee this, except they are not being truthful to every Nigerian. They were more in the social media trying to create a ruse that around the 25% of FCT. And this matter was even determined within FCC, within dependency of the tribunal, when from four FCT residents went to court to make sure that they want to assert the determination of the 25% as a grandeur to position themselves. And for me, just as a Nigerian, who are the FCT owners? Those are Dagis, those are the Ibiras, those are the people that own the FCT. Not you and I that came here to share boundary or to cohabit with them. If they were to determine who owns FCT, all of us will not have fair share in the pot of soup. But because it's democracy, because we are all Nigerians, you cannot go to Lagos and begin to situate who are the Nigerians, the Yoruba voters in this election, who are the Igbo voters. That does not speak here. Nigerians voted. However your vote is, Asiwaju met the required standard of winning that election, meeting the required total number of votes across 28 states. He had the vote. He might not have won in almost all those places. He had votes here. He also had vote there. So the entire thing first that come in on this one is to make sure that you have a balancing across board. But that doesn't mean that states where they don't vote, did Buhari had vote in the entire southeast? Even if you said anything, he still contributed positively. Developed the East-West Road, developed the second Niger Bridge, ensured there are a lot of projects going on there. That means that is democracy for you. He might not have done much for all of us to be proud of because of some of the inimical things that surround that administration. which we are all not happy about. Majority of us are disappointed. I personally am disappointed. But the fact that this is democracy, you are going to keep learning to grow the system. For the determination of 25%, it's a stricto facto that which has been determined in previous election. And for a lawyer, you don't go back to arrogate what has been determined by a court of competent jurisdiction, even by virtue of common sense. You don't need to begin to drag foot with the fact that 25% of FCT, even if you lose every other place and you are declared there, then your presidential winning should be, that sounds so unreasonable. Even if you have 100% of FCT now and you lose every other state and you expect the person that won and walked through every other means, you might be winning FCT because you have a large political mileage of your followers. That doesn't mean that every other person cannot import their own people into FCT to also compete space with you. But the fact that we don't have governor in FCT, we have minister, maybe that forms part of the government, but the citizens, the local government are there. There is running of administration within the FCT. There is FCT administrative structure that binds it, but it is regulated within the federal government parastatal as a structure of the seat of power. That's the only difference. But it's part of, it wears the number 37th jersey, just like every other state had their own name on their jersey.
All right, thank you so much, Ari Oladutu Hassan. It's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank
you very much.
All right, that's how we bring an end to the program today. Don't forget, the Polity reaches you live from Abuja, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Do join us tomorrow. We bring you more analysis on the judgment and the implications, what it means for Nigeria and what it means for the electoral process moving forward. Have a nice day, and Mercy Babajide will see you tomorrow. Bye for now. I am Amadine Ogbewe.